Hey, how are we? How's everybody doing?
How's everybody doing? Happy October 15th on Daily Gaming News. I am Kaisa.
I am Marrone, and welcome to the Daily Gaming News channel here on Twitch, as we dive into everything going on in the gaming industry that we think should be talked about.
How's everyone doing? How are you doing, Marrone?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm getting early mornings, so I've got to start reminding myself power naps.
Very nice.
Power naps, power naps. How are you?
I'm good. I'm trying to slowly move my schedule earlier and earlier, but right now I'm even though I'm done with everything at a normal time, I'm okay, 2 a.m. ready to go to sleep. I can't sleep until 5 or something like that, and I'm trying my best here. Can my body just cooperate with me for a moment?
Absolutely. Do you have one of those brains that, and anybody else in the chat, throw in if you're like this too, you get ready for bed and you're laying there and your mind just won't shut off?
Yeah.
And you're when am I going to go to sleep?
And I try to do those sleep hacks. My friend told me that I guess if you say in your head I'm sleeping, you'll trick your body into sleeping. And I don't know if it works or not. I think I tried it and maybe it actually did.
Maybe, I mean, that you manifested.
It sounds so dumb, yeah.
That's hilarious. That's awesome. Well, we got a lot to dive into. That isn't dumb is something that we were looking forward to talking about yesterday, but was our Silly Game of the Week nomination, as we're going to talk about this game called Going Under, which pokes fun at the capitalist nightmare of tech startups.
And then we're also going to get into Roblox and how they confidentially filed to go public.
That's a big deal for Roblox. We're also going to talk about that story we had mentioned yesterday, which is the dairy industry is partnering with the video game industry in an attempt to reach Gen Z.
Super weird, but we're going to get into Spider-Cat, which is in Spider-Man Miles Morales, which I'm very excited for.
And finally, just a month away, we finally will be seeing the PlayStation 5's next-gen UI, and we're going to be showing the video that they released today on the PlayStation blog.
We'll also be covering how the PS5 will let you record and report offensive voice chats, which has a lot of people up in arms, but I'm a big fan of.
I am too. We've talked about this a lot with how it's just like the Wild West out there. We need to start keeping and holding people accountable. We're also going to talk about something gaming related that is in the film industry, is that the Monster Hunter movie, we have learned almost all of it actually takes place inside the video game world.
And we're going to get into on this day in gaming, because it is Throwback Thursday and Pokemon Blue was released on this day in gaming.
Yeah. So let's start off from, as always. What's in the mug? What's in the mug? I lowered
Cheers.
some of the coloring by drinking.
So there's no hints.
What's in there?
How does Marrone's mic sound now? I turned it up a little bit. Hope it sounds good. As we jump into our first topic, the Silly Game of the Week, Going Under pokes fun at the capitalist nightmare of tech startups.
Yeah, this is a really funny game when you take a look at it. So unpaid internships, I think we all can agree, are the worst. Probably illegal. So working for no pay is absolute hell, especially when it involves clearing dingy basements filled with grubby goblins. Now, unfortunately, in the satirical dungeon crawler Going Under, that's just a standard day for an intern, but at least it beats making teas and coffees.
In Going Under, you play as Jackie, a young woman who has found herself at the bottom of the corporate ladder at drinks company Fizzle Co. Instead of getting into the corporate nitty-gritty of marketing like the internship application outlined, her boss has other plans in store, and Jackie is told to clear out the company's dingy basements.
Now, at the cost of losing her internship, she begrudgingly agrees and begins delving into the cursed ruins of the failed tech startups that have sunken into the basement's depths. It's a roguelite that revels in its satirical humor, making constant cracks at the ridiculous, bleak, toxic culture of Silicon Valley startups. The first dungeon you're up against is Joblin, a cheeky take on the job search website Monster.com. It's a failed business filled with goblins carrying around nicked office supplies.
Each dungeon is procedurally generated and has the founders of these startups waiting at the end, who at Joblin is the Caffeinated, a giant hulking goblin whose powerful attacks are fueled by an intricate coffee system plugged straight into its body.
And it turns out that Jackie is a pretty awesome fighter and has the handy ability to use any object as a deadly weapon. There's your classic dungeon weapons like swords and spiky clubs, but the best weapons down here are office supplies. Giant pencils for poking, plastic knives for stabbing, canned coffee grenades, plant pots. We've also got computer keyboards, yoga balls, brooms, staplers. Yes, you can use that a lot.
Items can break easily, so you'll be dropping and picking up anything you can get your hands on. Jackie can wield up to 3 weapons at a time, and you'll have the ability to switch between them on the fly. If that broom isn't as hard-hitting as you thought it would be, drop it like it's hot, pick up a computer monitor, and lob it across the room instead. Combat is frantically scrappy, and finding what office supplies work as the best weapons is a lot of fun.
And as you make your way through the dungeons areas, there are phone apps that you can find that will give you unique abilities and special storage cupboards that have power-ups. And there's also a company cafe, because why wouldn't there be, where you can spend your hard-earned cash on avocado toast, spiced lattes, when all Jackie really wants is health insurance.
Going Under is full of this tongue-in-cheek corporate satire. Styx Coin, a dig at Bitcoin, is a dingy mine where skeletons are relentlessly mining. There are mine carts to ride, bats to bonk on the head, and the dungeon store only accepts Styx Coin, so you'll need to use the in-store cash converter. Haven't you heard? The value of Styx Coin is going to skyrocket any day now.
Any day now. Another dungeon is also home to a failed dating service called Winky Dink, an app where you can only talk in emoji. It's filled with squelching slimes that multiply when you hit them and fiery demons who can ghost you to avoid incoming attacks. This dungeon looks more like a raunchy neon nightclub than a company, and the weapons down here will include empty wine bottles, evil tridents, and demon girl body pillows.
Each dungeon is bursting with character, and the colorful Play-Doh art style is completely different from other gloomy roguelikes. There's a satisfying burst of color as you thump an enemy on the head, and an explosion of money when they die. The environments are playful, like using a whiteboard as a barricade or having postal drones drop packages with new abilities for you to pick up.
Good night, Dragos. Enjoy your sleep. And Going Under came out around the same time as the 2 other noticeable roguelites, Supergiant's Hades and Mossmouth's long-awaited sequel, Spelunky 2. But Going Under manages to hold its own. It's a roguelike that bursts with silly, chaotic energy.
I love how this is described as like Play-Doh art style. I was like, that's pretty accurate, honestly. And I think it's great to have, a roguelike that's completely different from what we usually think of, them being. This game looks super silly. I don't know if I'd actually play it because I try to escape corporate hellscapes in general, so diving deep into one, I don't know if that's something I want to do.
I'll say this, when you live in LA for a little bit, you probably end up working at a tech startup company at one point or another in some way, or you go into one. And something that I really love about watching the footage of this game and hearing the descriptions of it is I'm curious how many of these people have actually worked at some of these places. Because some of their descriptions and the layouts, it feels just so spot on to a lot of the craziness that can ensue. I love that they have the cafe. I think every tech startup I've worked at has had a cafe at some point of some sort. So it's just really funny how they've mashed the real world elements of this industry and created this very comic book, approach to these power-ups, like using a giant pencil or the one that you can only talk in emojis and they can ghost you to get away, and it's the dating app one. It's so clever. I really want to see this game succeed just because of how clever it came up with its gameplay mechanics based on the real world merge that it did with its game.
It's so spot on. You just really want health insurance, but here's avocado toast. I've definitely worked at companies that do that. They're like, but we have a nice meal for you. And it's like, please, I just want to go to the doctor. Please.
Just want to go to the doctor.
Yeah. And I think I love how this game is such a time capsule that I hope 30 years in the future, 50 years in the future, people look back and they're like, oh, this is actually what working at a lot of tech startups was like. I wonder what it's like for these game devs or the people that worked on this, what the company culture is like there. I would love to hear more about it.
Absolutely. You made the wonderful point, when you work at a place like this and what you truly want versus what you're actually getting and what you're having to go through in that process, and just kind of giving you this experience, especially the roguelike experience has so much replay value, right? That's the purpose behind it. And I think it's one of those concepts for a game that when you hear it, you're like, oh, this makes so much sense. This is one of those like ideas that you're like, how did I not think of that? This works really well. And to have so many layers of combat there waiting for you, and the fact that like it has your normal dungeon crawling weapons that you can find, but the better aspects of the game are the more unique weapons, is something that I thought was another cool feature. Whereas like most dungeon crawlers, you're just trying to look for the sword and shield combo that helps you get through it the best.
And it looks like the game is pretty slick. Like, it moves very quickly. It seems easy to control, easy to look around. The combat seems like something you can, get a grasp on pretty well. It looks very well executed, and not just like, oh, like the joke is that we poke fun at tech startups. It's like, it's also a good game.
Absolutely. And another thing to add is like, where do we possibly see downloadable content in the future? More of these dungeons potentially come out where we're getting other businesses that we know of that are now being created for their added content. That'll be really cool to see how far these developers are able to go with this idea. If it is as engaging as something like Spelunky 2 and Hades, which those two games right now are doing very, very well.
It would be so funny if like there was a community mod or like a DLC that was like the Google office, or like, we're going to like the Apple offices or whatever. I also think it's so weird, like thinking about tech startups, how a lot of these, that start with a tech startup culture, they like slowly merge into just being like staple corporations, and it's like, where did that magic get lost along the way?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've seen that happen plenty and have wondered that myself. And you made the comment, and I was like, yeah, it's always fun too when you're just like, hey, I just want this health insurance, and then there are people there who happen to have it because they are, and then they talk about it. They address it, and you're like, I guess I don't get that. Okay, cool.
I guess so. Nice. Great.
Yeah. Oh, you're not going to be here because you have another doctor's appointment. And that might be funny if they add layers of, situations like that in the game, where it's just more things that hit on the nose what the majority of people experience when they work for startups.
Right. I feel like this game is also kind of like the things you wish you could say to your boss, but you actually couldn't. Like, I could see that being like kind of a spin-off.
That's really funny, and there's a stream for that. There's absolutely someone to stream that. Like, hey, have you ever had like a really, terrible situation at a startup? Send me it, leave your names out, and I'll use it as I'm streaming and playing this game. You can live vicariously through me.
Yes, please do it. But a company that's going public, no longer, startup-y anymore, is Roblox, as it confidentially files for an IPO, or plans to.
This is a really big deal. So they announced on October 12th that it had confidentially filed paperwork with the SEC to make its public debut. In February, the company, which operates a free-to-play gaming empire with tens of millions of users, was valued at $4 billion after a Series G funding round led by Andreessen Horowitz. And the company has raised more than $335 million in venture capital funding, according to Crunchbase.
And, of course, I've got to put this Arsenal headshot compilation, because headshots of Roblox. So the company has not detailed the number of shares it plans to offer, and furthermore notes in the standard legalese that their timely debut is subject to market and other conditions. After a slow 2019 for tech IPOs, the rebound of public markets in the mid-pandemic 2020 has provided an awfully wide window for tech startups reaching for their debuts.
And in the games space, recently what we were able to see was the debut of Unity Technologies, which makes a popular game engine that developers use to build and monetize gaming titles.
Roblox offers an interesting sell to both consumers and developers, shipping a free-to-play vision of the future which pushes developers away from graphics-intense game design toward building content that can be played on a wide variety of devices. The games company has been more successful than most in translating a first-party experience success into a robust developer network. Roblox's platform has been particularly successful with young audiences.
I will be an individual that if I have anything in savings, I will look at what Roblox comes out as, and I believe in investing in video game companies and technologies. I wish I had done the same had the same realization a few years ago when Nvidia's stock was easier to obtain. There are things that I would say no one saw where Roblox was going to be today. So you should take that same mentality when they actually do go public.
I think Roblox is like oftentimes slept on in the Twitch community, but on YouTube it is massive. Like the number of players is massive. It's surprisingly easy to spend money in Roblox and not in a way that feels like, oh, like we got you. It's like, oh, well, if you really like this game but you want to play with your friends, you can pay $1 a month for a private server. Sure, yeah, of course, whatever. It's just $1 for a private server. There's cosmetics that you can pay for, and some things are pretty inexpensive. Like if you want like a cute top for your avatar, it could cost like 35 cents. It's like pretty small amounts, but it does add up over time, absolutely. But I think Roblox like offers a lot of value, and even though it's not like the main player that we think of in the gaming space, like Minecraft, seems to be, the predominant Lego type game, Roblox is still a huge giant.
It is, and that's why $4 billion. That's not a tiny number in any stretch of the imagination. That's nothing to be like Roblox. What's Roblox? No, it's $4 billion. It raised 335 from venture capitalists. So there are individuals who pay attention to the video game industry and see its success on a grander scale. It's one of those things that I think we're going to start seeing more of start to happen with some of these like whales and behemoths within the gaming industry. So I'm very excited to see where this goes for Roblox.
Me too. I'm interested to see, how many people are going to buy up shares of Roblox, if it's going to make a big splash with a lot of articles, or a lot of investors going to be like, what is Roblox? Or is it actually more ubiquitous where they're like, oh no, my kids play Roblox. Like I get it.
Yes. I would imagine that there's going to be quite a few individuals where that'll be the case. They know of Roblox because their kids are playing it. And you talk about making the splash. I think one splash to address is maybe the splash of the dairy industry attempting to dive into the video game industry because they want to reach Gen Z. I
physically cringed while looking over this whole article from agripulse.com. This is wild to me. So, Dairy Management Inc. has entered into the world of gaming to target Gen Z with a virtual display of how a dairy farm works towards sustainability while also working toward profitability.
So, DMI CEO Tom Gallagher said this, noting the games, that 90% of Gen Z play video games, and Minecraft is the game that they're focused on. And even participation was coming from boys and girls.
DMI's goal is to help show how dairy farmers are working towards sustainability on their farming operation in a way that is environmentally minded but economically viable for their farmers.
Sustainability needs to be profitable because without profitability, there could be no sustainability. And without sustainability, the dairy farms, the dairy industry, we believe, will be subjected to very pejorative regulations. That's Gallagher speaking, and he goes on to say, if we are proactive and continue to do the great work that farmers have done over the years to be sustainable and profitable, we think we can win with the consumer, we can win with regulatory groups, and avoid those kinds of regulations.
Some of the gaming influencers working with DMI are Jimmy Donaldson, i.e. Mr. Beast, Brianna Arsman Barnhart, known as Brianna Plays, and also Preston, known as Preston Plays, who have millions and millions of subscribers between them.
Thank you so much for the sub, Coombs.
Hey, thanks.
And what's up to you? We were talking about some Star Citizen yesterday. You missed it. So each influential gamer will be invited to take a virtual tour of a different dairy operation around the country that showcases different sizes of dairy farms and different sustainability practices. Each farm selected is uniquely different to showcase different industry features, such as robotic milkers and ice cream or cheese production.
I just hate that term robotic milkers because when I hear milkers on the internet, it's usually about something else. So after the virtual tour, gamers will take the information they learned on the tour and recreate the dairy farm in Minecraft. The gamers have built their following on social media by posting their videos on YouTube channels, and they're going to show things that they built in this dairy farm and their dairy farm Minecraft world.
So Joanna Hunter, who's the executive vice president of communications at DMI, went on to say this: they may challenge each other on who can build the best dairy farm, or they may challenge their followers to build dairy farms of their own. The goal is for them to engage in that sustainability story and how dairy farmers are working really hard to bring a nutritious, sustainable product to that audience. Sorry.
Colorado dairy farmer Arik DeJager is one of the farmers who will be highlighted on this virtual farm tour. He owns Icon Holsteins and uses a robotic milking system on his farm.
So he says this: I haven't played video games in a while. Off to a good start. I guess just started a dairy, so perhaps that's why, but I do know how popular it is among young people. They like to play this game themselves, but they like to watch other people do it. So I think that when they see Mr. Beast build a dairy on Minecraft, it's huge. You got 40 million kids watch Mr. Beast build a dairy. I think that's a pretty good way to get the word out. This is what he said, noting his nephew is a big fan of the YouTube gamer.
In the next 2 weeks, the gamers, will be viewing the virtual farm tours and will start to create and post content for their followers, as content creators do.
And DMI is also looking for other video game-related promotions, including Madden NFL, and other groups have tried to use video games to reach a younger audience, including the American Farm Bureau Foundation's My American Farm project.
I feel like this is like the epitome of like the fellow kids meme. Like, hey, kids, Minecraft, let's get into Minecraft. You know, as if that's gonna work. This also makes me think of a lot of things that like we think are healthy or good are all marketing campaigns. Like, apparently milk, or when I read into it, like, milk isn't necessarily that good for you. I think it was one of the many things that had like a surplus after World War II, so it's like, it's fine to drink, but you don't need like a bunch of milk every day. Like, humans don't need to drink cow milk. Cow milk is for cow babies. I mean, I don't really drink milk. I don't know what you think of this whole thing, Marone, but I guess I have to salute them for thinking outside the box, but I think this is kind of weird.
Okay. I can side with you on that. For sure, we can salute them for thinking outside the box. And yes, we can also recognize the science that is updated since the dairy industry had its big, powerful influence with the Got Milk commercials, which did a lot of misinformation in order to sell a product. I think there are various types of milks that we know of now that are different than cow's milk. For me, like, I'm like, yeah, this is great, this is cool. What is the treatment of your creatures? Like, how are you treating the animals? Is it a place where they're actually being taken care of and treated the way in which you would want, if you were a cow, to be treated? You know, so there's a lot of those factors that come into it that it feels out of touch, but maybe they might find that the Gen Zers want this reality to continue to exist, but they want it to exist in a way that's more animal rights and them being taken care of, and still, you know, getting behind the dairy farm industry. But it also could be a recipe for disaster if it doesn't necessarily, you know, translate in that way.
I do have orange juice. Kai Almighty guessed I do have orange juice today. Good guess. Yeah, so I guess why I don't drink milk, resident vegetarian, spewing my vegetarian propaganda. But like cows,
how dare you?
How dare I? There's no like dairy cows that produce milk. It's same with all like mammals, is they give birth to an offspring and then produce milk for the duration of taking care of that offspring, and then it's done. And so for these cows to produce milk, they have to give birth again and again and again, and they have like hormones, you know, given to them to increase the amount of time they produce milk. They're not supposed to produce like milk like every year all the time, like year round. Like, that's not what it's for. And they keep the calves close by enough so the cows keep producing milk, but they don't get to the calves don't get to be close enough to actually drink the cow's milk. I think it's really sad. I don't really drink milk. Personally, Gen Z is very in tune to social issues. I think it is almost playing with fire to try to do this with Gen Z. I wonder if people are going to really care about this, or people are just like, whatever, everyone drinks milk, it's not a big deal. But I've noticed that like even people on the internet that like cancel things like for fun or like as a joke. Like even the new League of Legends character, I guess in the lore, she's a pop star and she powers her microphone using crystals, and in the lore those crystals are made from the dead bodies of Skarner, which is another champion. So people are like, oh, cancel this League of Legends character, she's profiting off of like the deaths of this like other thing, and it's like a whole joke, but it's still also like hyper vigilanteism kind of thing.
Okay, yeah.
And it's like kind of trendy. So I could see that potentially happening with this, where it's like maybe some people don't care about the milk industry, but I could see people even like canceling milk as like a joke.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, and helps explain where that I was kind of like, this could backfire. Is because, I mean, until you go inside of one of those actual farms, you don't necessarily know what's happening.
Yeah.
And is the representation of the way they'll display it for these events accurate to what's actually going on there? That's another question to ask. And I would also like to believe that some of these people, like Mr. Beast, suffer nothing if they don't tell the truth about, you know what I mean? Like if they actually tell the truth of, oh, hey guys, I partnered with this thing, it's actually a lot like this, I'm just going to tell you how it is. And the dairy industry is like, no, this isn't working for us. This is so weird of a,
it's weird
of a topic that you're just kind of like, I kind of just want to grab popcorn and see which way it goes.
Yeah, like, I don't know how this would turn out. I feel like it is weird. I assume it's going to be a pretty sterilized version of like, hey, we have this cute farm and there's grass everywhere and these are the happy cows getting robotically milked. Isn't that so cool? Like, I'm pretty sure that was presented to me in school. It's like, oh, this is how they use robots to like get milk, like whatever. You know, I assume it's going to be like that. But yeah, I do hope people are like, wait, actually having this many cows in this small space, something seems, oh, the calves aren't, the baby cows aren't near the mama cows? Oh, like something doesn't add up here.
It really, yep. I think we're going to be sitting by just waiting. We're going to be sitting by waiting to see, like, well, how does this play out? Is this going to happen the way we think it's going to happen? So we'll be keeping our eye on this partnership and this goal that the dairy industry has set for themselves.
Yeah, as Kai says, it's like trying to make something that's not so cool to like be cool, and like, we don't hate you if you drink milk. We're not gonna, say you can't drink milk if for whatever reason you do that. That's on you. But I personally don't. I think it's weird. Yeah, it's like they're trying to make this like weird, inhumane thing like cool and like young, and I'm not really here for it.
Yeah, we're going to have to see. But you know what I am here for, Kaisa?
What?
Spider-Cat.
Spider-Cat!
Spider-Cat is coming out on Spider-Man Miles Morales.
2018 Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse brought a plethora of web-slingers into the public eye and made characters such as Spider-Ham a household name. While Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales is looking to tell its own story centered around the hero, the developers at Insomniac Games aren't afraid of adding their own addition to the Spider-Man universe.
Introducing Spider-Man. Yes, the cat is also named Spider-Man. Miles' new feline friend helps our hero bash the bad guys with some crazy kitten flair. In this exclusive gameplay clip that we're about to show, we will show off how Miles meets his new kitten companion and show off a brief tease at how he'll assist players in combat.
Do you have the video ready?
I do.
All right. I am clicking play now.
Genki said the app's blowing up. City definitely needs a Spider-Man. Should patrol for a while. Looks like Teo's bodega was robbed. Hope I can help. Should probably call Genki when I get there. I think these dudes go to a power station. There's my way in.
I'm pretty sure this is a Spider-Cat clip. Do you have a different one up? Am I on the right thing?
I think this is the one that I had, right?
Okay.
Now for the breaker.
Oh yeah, it's coming up, it's coming up.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Ah!
Hey man, power restored, bank heist stopped, Spider-Man the cat saved.
Call it a day's great work. Maybe we can
I love how the cat's also called Spider-Man.
call you soon.
He named the cat Spider-Man.
Hey, Teo, got a surprise for you.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
Aw.
Spider-Man! Oh! Did you have an adventure?
This is so fun.
You
Aww.
almost gave Daddy a heart attack. Oh, yes, you did. Oh, yes, you did. Oh, good work, other Spider-Man. Thanks.
Yeah,
Let
of course.
me downplay.
You ready to swing, Spider-Cat?
You two look great.
Oh my god. That's so
Stop
adorable.
some crimes, you two.
That's so adorable.
That is so good. Yo, it fights with you.
It jumped out of the backpack and clawed that dude in the face. What are the combos that you're gonna get with Spider-Cat on your back in combat? That sounds and looks awesome.
I think that's so funny. I love how like helps you out. I love how you're like swinging and doing flips in the air, and the cat's just like in the backpack, just hanging out in the backpack. I can't. This is a wonderful addition. Spider-Man is, I think, the coolest superhero.
Yeah, he relates with almost, I would say, every generation.
Yeah.
And I love how like there's dog lovers and there's cat lovers, and I'm both. I've noticed in games recently there's been more of this inclusion of dogs and cats.
Mhm.
So I am wondering if at some point you'll get enough people be like, look, I love having the cat. Is there a spider dog that can possibly come and play and
Spider
hang out?
dog.
Is that something to be had there too? Somebody else is like, can we just get Spider Pig to join us at some point in the game?
I love Waffle's comment. Just sold me a PS5 right there. Boom. Spider-Cat sold. Just take my money.
That is hilarious. Oh my god, that's such a cool idea. And I also just enjoy how Insomniac added that, not to try to like appease anything other than here's a cool idea that we had, and boom, now it's in the game. We hope you like it. And clearly it's already getting the reception that you would expect Spider-Cat to get.
Right? I feel like it fits in so well. It's like troll and like silly, but it totally fits within the universe. It doesn't feel like it's too far of a stretch or like too unrealistic or whatever. People are just like, yes, we want this. We want more pets in games, please.
Yeah, this is great. I want to see more. I want more animals in games.
Please, we need them. Our next topic is about PlayStation 5 and their new UX, which a lot of you chatters are like, when is this coming out? I need this. I need to see it. Well, now it's here.
So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the blog post, and then we're going to jump in and watch the video and do a watch and react. So here is what Sony said on their official PlayStation blog. With less than a month until launch, we're thrilled to share the very first look at the PlayStation 5 console's user experience. The UX is new and completely centered around the player, which is to provide you a truly next-gen experience with deeper immersion that quickly connects you to great games and a passionate gaming community.
They went on to say, we believe your playtime is valuable and should be meaningful, and all the new features we're delivering are inspired by that concept and vision. The new UX introduces several new features designed to make your gaming experiences more fun, engaging, personalized, and social.
One of the highlights is the new Control Center, which provides immediate access to almost everything you need from the system at a single press of the PlayStation button on the DualSense wireless controller, all without leaving the game.
They said that we've also added a new feature called Activities, designed to bring you closer to the key elements of gameplay. Activities are displayed via on-screen cards in the Control Center, which enables you to discover new gameplay opportunities, go back to things you missed, jump directly into levels or challenges you want to play, and much more. Some activity cards can be put in picture-in-picture mode, so you can view them without having to leave the game.
So navigating the interface, switching between games, and hopping into online matches occurs quickly. And they rebuilt the entire software stack from the console to the network to bring a truly next-gen experience. They believe that the less time you spend waiting to interact with the system is the more time you'll have spending playing games.
Sony says, we wanted to give you an early peek at a part of the PS5 UX journey in our video walkthrough, so we hope you enjoy the tour. Also keep in mind that this is in a pre-production environment, so there may be some minor changes, but it'll give you a taste of what to look forward to when PS5 launches in November.
And they say they cannot wait for everyone to check out PlayStation 5's next-gen UX for yourself next month. And also let us know what features you are most excited about in the comments. Go to the blog post if you want to comment.
Are you ready with your video?
I am. Let me. I closed out for Spider Cat.
Oh. Hi, Fizzyberry.
Fizzyberry.
What's up?
Alrighty.
All right.
Here, ready. Let me know.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, play.
Hi everyone,
Hello.
I'm Hideaki Nishino, and I head up PlayStation's platform planning and management team, which includes product and UX design. Today, we are finally going to give you a look at the PlayStation 5 user experience. We will see some of the features that enable games to work together with the hardware and network to deliver a truly next-generation experience. Our vision for a PS5 user experience is simple. We believe that your playtime is valuable and should be meaningful.
I love his
PlayStation
accent. It makes us feel so like
team members from all around
international.
the world work to
100%.
deliver a PS5 experience that is completely.
This is all we
centered on
saw.
you,
Was this was
the
like the
player,
only teaser.
connecting
Now
you
we
with a
actually
great
get to
play
see
and a
more.
passionate community of gamers. With a look and feel that's designed for 4K TVs, the PS5 user experience was built from the ground up to take advantage of the console capabilities, complementing the transformative games coming with this new generation. I should note that this video tour is from a pre-production environment on the PS5 console, so there may be a few small wrinkles or minor changes once the console launches in November. And now, let's check it out, courtesy of our own Sid Schumann.
Get in there.
Thanks, Nishino-san. Welcome to your
Thanks,
new
Nishino-san.
PlayStation 5 console experience.
Interesting
This
image
time,
Yeah.
we
for
started
the
off from rest
player
mode.
profile there.
You've already created an account and signed into PlayStation
Yeah, it
Network.
seems so unapologetic. It's just like, hey, this is my prof pic.
Yeah, it's from Resistance, a game that
In this case,
came out
I
back on
resumed
PlayStation
right
3.
where I
We've
left
not
off
heard
in
anything about for a
Sackboy:
long
Big
time.
Adventure. And here, we're looking at PlayStation 5's Control Center. From here, it's one click and we're right back into the game, but let's take a moment and look around.
Looks cool so far.
The Control Center is always one tap of the PlayStation button away. It provides immediate access to almost everything you need from the system without leaving the game. This includes things like seeing who is online, checking the status of a download, managing your controller, power, and more.
I love this music. I feel like I'm like in an
These colorful
elevator.
characters are called
It
cards.
is elevator
They let you
music.
interact with games
Or
and the system in a
I'm
variety
somewhere
of
getting a
ways.
massage and this is the music
Yeah!
playing in the
As we
background.
just
Is this
resumed, the Control
customizable?
Center
Is
is
this
showing
music
a
track?
special card
Their
that allows you to
options.
get up to date on
I'm gonna
recent
turn this down a
stories
smidge
posted by
so we can
publishers
talk
for
over it
games
better.
I am following. Another card here shows me recent media I've captured from my gameplay using the Create button on the DualSense controller. Let's check out one of the most powerful
What a
features
virus.
of the PS5 console. They're
Hi.
actually just to the right in this row, and we call them activities. Activities are part of the
When
plan
I see
to
the
remove
percentages
barriers
about
to
like in
gameplay.
progress, it makes me
Let's get
think
an
that
example
it's
of
like
one way they're used
an
in
item to be
Sackboy: A
purchased
Big
that's on
Adventure.
sale. Because I usually see like 30%
Oh, yeah.
Tap
off.
the PlayStation button, I'm back to playing the game. Sackboy: A Big Adventure.
Wow, that's
is
like
packed
that was
with things
seamless.
to
That was
discover,
seamless.
and each
I didn't even
level
see that
represents
happen.
one type of activity I can play, many of which I can go back to later to discover more. I tap the PlayStation button to bring up the Control Center again. I can see a number of available activities, both active and suggested by the system.
Oh, cool.
Let's take this first one, A Big Adventure, as an example. I can see
Tells
that I
you
haven't quite
about
completed
10
this
minutes
level
left.
yet. I'm at 33%.
Interesting.
Let's open it up and see more. Here I can see more information, including key objectives.
I don't know if I want
And
that.
I'm seeing
Sometimes
a
I'd
very
like to
important
not
piece of
know
information here. It says
how much is
about
left.
10 minutes left.
Sometimes
This
I
is PlayStation
do.
5's personalized playtime estimate, giving me an idea how long it will take me to complete.
I was
this
going to say, like,
activity.
having an idea of, like, oh, I've got all these things I want to achieve. Oh, one's
Some
quicker than
activities
the
even
other.
let you
I might
jump
go do that
directly
before I
to
go do the
that
other.
place
Especially,
in
like,
the
if
game.
you want to, like, min-max your trophies
Right?
and achievements.
But there's more to see here. For another example, let's open
graphics
that
look so
activity
good.
back up.
You really do.
Oh, the
my
little
God.
stitches. Yeah, waffles like I'd rather not know. I hope it's like
It
optional.
looks like I missed an objective to find the monk robe's costume piece. Looks like I need a little help. Some in-game activities, like this one, offer official game help. Game help is included as a benefit for active PlayStation Plus members in some PS5 games. In this case, I can open up that objective to get some hints without resorting to a web search or digging through long
I do like that.
that might contain spoilers. This
Yeah,
particular hint is a
spoiler-free
video,
hints.
and I can play it here in the card, and I can expand it to get a bigger view without leaving the game.
Oh, wow.
That's
Sometimes
cool.
It's really useful to be able to see the hint on screen while you play.
No. Oh,
Some
my God.
cards can be put in a picture-in-picture mode.
This is like what I do on stream. I'll like pull up a hint and like have the chat be able to see it on the side, but the game's still in the back.
Card, you can
That's
access
really
it via the
cool.
control center at any time. Now let's go find those rascally
PS Plus
monk
only though,
robes.
yes.
Yeah.
It's a PS5
Thanks,
thing.
Game Help. The team at PlayStation wanted to make it really easy to chat with your friends on the PlayStation 5 console. So let's check out how it works. Here, I'm opening an interactive notification with a tap of the PlayStation button, and I've decided to join the voice chat that my friend just entered. Now, my friend could have done this on the PlayStation app for mobile devices, from a PS4, or in this case, from a PS5. The DualSense controller features an integrated microphone too, so I could start talking right away.
Oh, wow.
But I always have the ability to hit the mute button on the controller or in the menus.
Yo, I'll be right there. I'll get my headset.
Parties take on an expanded role with PS5, and they now
Share
provide persistent
screen.
spaces to connect with groups that you play with. Here I have a couple of friends chatting away in the party. One of them has started sharing their screen with the group.
Are you going to pull up the share screen and play at the same time?
Looks like they're playing Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. We can share
Oh!
while we play, and I can watch his progress as well.
Wait, that's so cool to be like, yo, I'm at this part of the game.
This
Oh
is
my
another
God.
card that can be put in picture-in-picture
Wow.
mode, or pinned
What?
to the side while you play.
You can
access it
play
anytime via the
and
Control
watch
Center
them
too,
play?
But let's dismiss it for now.
Wow.
Okay, let's review. So far, we've seen how activities on PS5 will make it easier and faster to hop back
That's
into
crazy.
PS5
Consoles
games,
pushing out
and
that
how you
capability?
can get in-game help and chat with your friends.
This
So
is
that
like, I don't know if
means
that's something
online
people would
multiplayer
use. I don't know if I
Let's
would
check it
use
out.
it. I think it's
I think
cool
we'll
that
be
it's free.
surprised
Some of my friends
how
are
Maybe?
online.
we'll
Yeah.
So
start
it's time
using
to say
it more.
goodbye to Sackboy for now and spin up a match of Destruction All-Stars. One of my friends in the party has already
game looks
started a
cool.
match, and we can join them from this card in Control Center.
How quick?
How
I'm
quick?
curious to
And there we go. Destruction All-Stars now quickly starts thanks to PS5's ultra-high-speed SSD. Okay, I think we've got enough people on our party, so let's jump in.
Wow.
We're keeping the focus on PS5's user experience today, so let's zip ahead so we can see more. And just like that, we're in. We don't have time to play a full match today, but I do think we have time to take a quick photo. To do that, I'll just tap the Create button on the DualSense controller. PS5 is always capturing recent gameplay, but when you compose a shot, even using in-game photo mode, you can capture a high-quality.
I like that.
screenshot
I use
here.
the screenshot feature on my
Optimizes
Switch like
capturing the moment,
nonstop.
letting you review
I was
and
doing it
choose to share
nonstop with
later on.
my PlayStation
I
4 with
should
Really?
my first playthrough on
Screenshots
Spider-Man.
and video can be captured at up
I
to
would
4
I would
need
just
a
use
screenshot.
the photo mode in Spider-Man. I would be clicking it on my
Okay,
controller.
so far we've shown off how to jump into activities, how to chat with your friends, get into groups together to play,
Yeah.
capturing gameplay, all of that.
Fizberry
while
too.
in the
Like
game.
I wonder,
But what if I want to play a
mentioning
different
that like
game?
you could play co-op and somebody could be streaming their, share screen
Welcome
their
to the
view,
PlayStation
and you could be
5
seeing
home
your
screen.
view, so
This
you
is
can
where
see
you'll
whatever
land
they're
when you
seeing
start up
Yeah.
versus
the
like
start-off state,
needing to be
and where
looking
you'll
at their
go when you want to choose a new
a
game
co-op
to play
like
or
split screen or
download.
whatever.
The layout of the space is designed to
Kinda like
present
Create
games
split
and game
screen
content
almost.
beautifully on a 4K display, with simple and super fast access to what you need. And in case you're wondering, media-related apps will have their own space like this one. But today we're focused
I will
on
say this screen looks pretty
each game
familiar.
Has its own hub,
I feel like this is
completely
pretty
integrated, so all you need to do is scroll down to see activities you
Similar
can jump right into.
to what we know.
Video clips, stories about the game, DLC, and more. backward-compatible PS4 titles will benefit from some of these features too. Let's move one spot to the left and check out Explore.
Meet the
which brings together
family.
all
That reminds me
your
of
games.
Resident Evil. When
We
they're like,
saw a
oh,
view
meet
of
the
this from
family in
Control
Resident
Center
Evil 7.
earlier,
Oh, yeah.
And another view will also
See,
be in
the
new
headphones,
PlayStation
the
app for
PlayStation
mobile
5 headphones,
devices.
I don't like them.
Explore keeps you in
Yeah.
the loop with official stories from PlayStation
That's just me,
and
I'm
from all the
picky.
games you're following,
feel ya.
including trending media from the community. We'll be testing and learning about this feature in the US at launch, so not everyone will have this on day one. But it gives you a good idea of the direction.
Interesting.
And this is PlayStation's store for PS5. It's completely integrated into the system. It's not a standalone app anymore. Browsing for new games to play will be easier thanks to the speed of PS5 and a more personalized store experience. And here, you'll be able to browse the latest games and deals. You'll find PS5 games and many backward-compatible PS4 games too. I'm sad to say, but we are almost out of time.
Oh,
So let's
I was
pull up
wondering what he
Control
was going to
Center
say there.
one more
Sad to
time
say,
with a
too.
tap of the PlayStation button. On our way out, why don't we quickly share that photo we took in Destruction All-Stars? We can find recently captured media in this handy card in Control Center.
Very handy.
From here, we can do some quick edits, but I think I'm ready to share it right now. On PlayStation 5, I have the option to share videos and images to supported external services.
Nice.
Or I can send them directly to one of my parties. Remember, parties are bigger than just voice chat now. So I'll select one of my favorite parties here.
Interesting.
It's like a group
Let's
chat.
catch
It's
a
like
quick
Discord.
Yeah, it's like I was just gonna say, yeah, it's like
Voice chat
Discord
makes this really easy.
within the console.
PlayStation 5 supports voice dictation in a number of languages.
Oh, that's so
you no
helpful.
longer have to type messages with the keyboard if you don't want
That's
to.
so
Simply
helpful.
select the microphone button.
Yes, it is.
Here's a cool detail.
There's nothing
If
more
my friend
annoying
hasn't yet
than
played the
D-padding
activity
through
where I
the
captured this
keyboard.
video,
Oh my god,
if
so
the game's
horrible.
developer thinks that activity might contain spoilers, they'll receive a warning before they view it.
Oh.
Well, that's it for our demo. There are many more exciting features we couldn't get to today, but we're super
Oh,
excited
God,
to share
typing on a
more
console.
of
It
the
is
PlayStation
the
5
worst.
and PlayStation app user experience with you in the coming weeks headed to launch. And of course, this was just a first look at what fans could expect on day one. The team at PlayStation is
looks
committed
really
to
good.
evolving this experience with our community in the months ahead.
Yeah, that looks pretty good. I like the share feature. I like the photo feature. Thumbs up.
Yeah, I
Thumbs
think
up.
it was like it's one of those moments too. You see him deliver, and you're like, why couldn't you have delivered that a while ago? Like, I'm happy I finally get to
Yeah.
see it now. I would love to know more about your UI, and not like a month away. But what I saw, I was very excited. I mean, there are some features there that I'm just like, to what extent will they be used? How will they be created? And I was really curious how much of that photo mode editing software, how far that goes. Are they taking
Right.
like the photo mode we've seen in games? Now they're applying it to the console UI, so you can get that in depth with it?
I assumed it would be kind of like what we have on Twitter, where it's like crop, add some filters, and like maybe add some text. Maybe I just assumed, but I wonder, you know, what you can actually do with that. With the picture-in-picture thing, it would be great if you could watch like a Twitch stream on there while playing your game, and that would make your console more like, you know, like how people use PCs versus having to choose between one or the other. But I don't know if that's a feature that they have. It might be a little too big brain. I'm surprised the voice to text thing hasn't been used with consoles before. I'm like, that's pretty basic stuff at this point.
Yeah, there was definitely like sending voice messages, but voice to text is one that is way, way more powerful, and one that like that's exciting. I mean, I'm genuinely excited about that because I've never had more frustration than trying to send a message using the D-pad on console and possibly either spelling it wrong or accidentally backing out and having to start over.
Yeah.
So this just speak it in there, it'll get it, make a quick edit and send it. Oh man, it's so exciting. I'm so happy for that feature alone.
Me too. And another feature that I'm really excited for that I want to get into is how the PS5 will let you record offensive voice chats, which has a lot of people with big opinions on the internet speaking out.
Yeah, and as someone said in the chat earlier, anyone with a big opinion against this feature is just probably someone knowing they're gonna get in trouble for doing very much creating why this is in existence.
Absolutely. So the PS5 is getting a new feature that is going to let you record voice chats should you need to report toxic or abusive behavior to a Sony moderator.
So what they actually said was, following this update, users are seeing a notification about party safety, and that voice chats in parties may be recorded. Now, voice chat recording for moderation is a feature that will be available on the PlayStation 5 when it launches, and will enable users to record their voice chats on PlayStation 5 and submit them for review.
The pop-up that you're seeing on the PS4 is to let you know that when you participate in a chat with a PS5 user post-launch, they may submit those recordings from their PS5 console to SIE. Sony has made it explicit in a separate statement on Twitter that it is not recording all conversations by default and that this is a user-controlled option.
And though the feature will be made available to PlayStation 5 players and includes the recording of PS4 players, those on current gen are not going to be able to access this feature like the PlayStation 5. So there's certainly a disparity in security and reporting controls across both generations in that respect, and Sony will have to manage this one carefully to make sure it's not abused, while gamers will have to be aware that their conversations may no longer be private.
The main, knee-jerk reaction I see from people about this is they're like, well, what if my friends, who are my best friends, say offensive stuff to me? Are they going to get reported? No, because you would have to record them and report them, and I assume you wouldn't if these are your friends. I don't know, maybe some people are going to do this as a troll thing, but I also assume that, it's got to be pretty bad for you to actually get, moderation, to happen. I think that there is an extent of banter that people understand is banter versus harassment here.
Yeah, 100%. There's the tool is there for us to use it in the instance where you need to, hey, here's the proof this person is harassing me. This proof is this person is saying these things. Listen to them say it. So when you realize that's really what its purpose is for, and especially an entire spectrum of the human demographic, one half of humanity's, sex probably receives the majority of these types of messages and harassment. I think it is important that this feature be allowed for them to use in order to defend themselves when necessary, hey, this person won't stop doing this. Mm-hmm. Here is the tally of them doing that. Now, I get the other hand where it's what I'm saying isn't private. I mean, it is until you begin to do things that require me to use this feature against you.
And, Waffle says, hearing the experience of women on comms and games, this should help to become a more comfortable space over time. I really hope so. I talked to one of my friends about this, and they were like, yeah, my friends, especially when they play Call of Duty, they'll become really toxic, and they might say sexist or racist things because everyone in Call of Duty is saying that, so they feel emboldened to say those things too, and they're maybe not inherently trying to be racist or sexist, but they're still saying these things because other people saying them gives them permission to, and they might think that, oh, this is just me just talking smack. This is what everyone does. This is what you do in this game. Meanwhile, the people who are actually, the target of those kinds of comments do feel more marginalized, and it does have an impact. And my friend was like, yeah, when my friends do that, it makes me not want to play with them. I just don't want to play with them. I can't participate in that. But it is really hard to be able to tell your friends, hey, don't say that kind of stuff, because it can be brushed off. So I think this also helps put the burden, on PlayStation to be oh, it's not me telling you to stop, it's PlayStation saying that this is not acceptable, to kind of take it off of friends, which I think you should speak up, but I understand that it can be hard to as well.
Yeah, and you referenced Call of Duty. Knowing Activision Blizzard, they're not going to do anything about a voice chat. No. But maybe Sony, because they're the ones reviewing these things, would be the ones to take a deeper look into this and see if this can be addressed, especially if it's another player who is, using the hardware. I mean, I think these are things that a lot of game developers should consider allowing this tool to be there. Mm-hmm. Because it's that same warning when you're driving down the highway and it says the speed limit's 65. If you choose to break that and drive 80, drive 90, break the law, you're held accountable for it if you get caught. And in this situation, if I could say something that could be used against me because the thing I say is offensive or I'm harassing someone else, mm-hmm. and it wouldn't be anything I would say outside of this anonymity, you shouldn't be speaking like that anyways. So I love this feature. I think it's a great feature, and hopefully we'll start to do more of what we've talked about is necessary, is add some regulation to what seems like people like to hide behind their avatar and hide behind their gamer tags, as if it allows them this ability to be this toxic human being.
Totally, and a lot of these people who might not experience, some targeted things themselves, I don't think they really understand, how bad it is. Even if it only happens a couple times a week, that is way too much. I would be on edge. I don't use voice chat in games. I've considered getting like a voice mod to make my voice sound different so people don't harass me, which is like stupid that I even have to, think about that kind of stuff. I really hope that this does, make a difference, because it makes a lot of people want to become invisible, because, also me not speaking in voice chat makes it seem like to other women in gaming that there aren't any other women in their lobby, because the other women aren't saying anything because we don't want to get harassed. I really hope that there's a change here. I'm so sick of that kind of idea of like, oh, that's just gaming. That's how gamers talk. That's what you do online. It's just so stupid. If you're worried about getting in trouble for saying something like this online, you shouldn't be saying that kind of stuff. It's possible to smack talk without, being a horrible person. And I'm really glad that this feature is going to be built in, because it's been the burden of the victims to have to like have OBS or their camera recording their gameplay at the right moment to catch the right person saying the right thing, versus just being able to do this with a click on your controller.
Yeah, it's very cool to see Sony implement this feature and get behind it and add it and be like, hey, here's the tool for you to use this. Use it as you see fit. I'm sure it'll go through some stages, and we'll figure out how to use it, properly and not abuse the tool. I think its purpose is to serve the greater good.
I agree. For our last bit of the news, is because it is Thursday, we are doing our Throwback Thursday for On This Day in Gaming.
24 years ago, all you Game Boy OGs, Pokemon Blue came out on October 15th, 1996.
I love this! This game came out. Happy birthday. Happy 24th birthday, Pokemon Blue. Some of you have played this game, love this game. Pokemon Red and Blue were 1996 role-playing video games developed by Game Freak, as you know, by Nintendo for the Game Boy. They were the first installments of the Pokemon video game series and are absolute legends in the gaming space.
They really are. I actually remember, I think I got Blue first, and then it was Red, then Yellow.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was my transition, but I totally got Pokemon Blue first when it came out. And then, just so many memories, so many times of coming home from school and wanting to play this game, bringing my Game Boy with me everywhere I went. And, I still have my Game Boy Color. I have the teal Game Boy Color. I think I still have Pokemon Red. I have to go double check. But
nice.
Yeah, this was such a big day for Pokemon when this game came out.
I have to add the music on here. It's so iconic. Just low in the background. I still have my Game Boy Color. I have a purple one. My first Pokemon game was actually Sapphire.
Is it the see-through one?
No, it's not a see-through one.
Okay,
it's the normal one. I know, not as cool. But yeah, Pokemon Sapphire was my first Pokemon game. I have actually never finished a Pokemon game, but I have played a lot of Pokemon, and I love watching the series. It holds up. If anyone watches Pokemon Indigo League on Netflix, it really holds up to the test of time. It's still super funny.
I think I've talked about this before. My big memory that comes from Pokemon, especially the Game Boy experience, was when I learned about farming the ether to give Magikarp, and basically catch a Magikarp early on, and then just feed that bad boy all the ether you possibly can, so he levels up to a Gyarados, and then just destroy the rest of the game. So that was the first thing I set out to go do once I could get my fishing rod and go get a Magikarp, was just to main a Gyarados and just destroy everyone to work my way. It was such a workaround A workaround, that's what it was.
That's so funny. I know Pokemon games have kind of changed over time. A lot of people didn't like Sword and Shield. I know some of you in the chat have played it. I think Pokemon games have been getting easier as time goes on, it seems, or people say that Let's Go Eevee isn't nearly as grindy as the others. You also don't have to, like all your Pokemon get XP even if you don't use them in battle kind of things. I wonder where Pokemon is going to go, because it's still massively popular.
Virtual reality. That's where Pokemon needs to go. We need a legitimate virtual reality Pokemon game where you stand in an arena, you do the gesture of throwing out the Pokeball, you see your giant Pokemon standing there, and it reads voice commands so you can sit there and do the battles. That's what we need.
So
I
cool.
need that in my life. I'm ready to play that.
I definitely need that. I don't know why Phasmophobia is kind of the first game where we've seen, voice being an important part. I'm like, how come in like Magic games you can't like cast a spell by saying it? Why can't you be able to command your Pokemon by saying like, Pikachu, tackle! Like that would be so cool.
That would be, but I'm sure if you lived with anyone, they would be like, get out. Move. And cheers to Kai. I'm going to give this one to Kai for the iced coffee. It's an iced vanilla coffee, so that's the specific, but I'm going to give it to you anyways for the iced coffee because we're right at the end anyways. But damn, do we realize how much we need a virtual reality Pokemon experience. Whoever's developing out there, you better get this deal quick. That needs to happen. We need this to happen. I think Pokemon is the best use of AR that I've seen with Pokemon Go. I don't think any AR has been as good or been as fun as Pokemon. Yo, we need this Pokemon VR right now. Absolutely, and I love Virus's comment, not when everyone is training to be a Pokemon master. That's true. Houses just form. The 100 Thieves building just turns into all virtual reality Pokemon players as they're training. You got some rocket, the rocket facility is built. It gets like full-fledged like esports, like it's this huge competition where we're all watching it in augmented reality. Man, this is a reality I need. We need this. I remember I think it was the last E3 I went to, their Nintendo arena was like, they had like a stadium set up for like the Pokemon thing. It was made of like paper and cardboard, but standing in it, I was still like, whoa, like I need this. Like, this is really cool. This is great. I want more of this, and I really hope that's where it's going. And when we get back to like normal existence and we're all safe and not going to be able to get sick when we go out there or infect someone else, I hope this is like the first major announcement from Nintendo. We've heard you guys at DGN. We know the world wants this. Here it is. I love that, but it does bring us to the end of our daily gaming news for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Some of the segments today were brought to you by suggestions from the mailbag, like the silly game of the week. We would love more suggestions, more topics, more things you want us to talk about, questions you want us to answer, things that you think would be fun for us to do with you all in the chat. And like we did announce we would talk about the story, we'll push it to tomorrow, is talking about the Monster Hunter movie, where I did see someone in chat acknowledge it looks really bad. And I agree, based on the trailer, it was weird. Military vehicles and guns and the monsters. But supposedly the information that's coming out is that most of the movie takes place in the world. And that kind of shifts my perspective a little bit as a Monster Hunter fan. So we'll talk about that more tomorrow. We are live from 1 to 2 p.m. every weekday at Pacific time. We also have our VODs on YouTube, so you can always check them out. And we run reruns on Twitch in case you missed the show. And for everyone liking, following, subscribing, donating, thank you so much for being a part of the DGN family and helping support us and get behind us every day that we come out here. We can't do it without all of you amazing human beings. Are you streaming later today, Maroon? I'm not going to be streaming today. Got some stuff to do, but I will be streaming tomorrow. I might even play that Black Ops beta. I don't know. Probably not. I say that because other people are doing that, and then I'm like, but Activision Blizzard, like we talked about yesterday, I don't want to give them any attention right now. Right, I feel that. I'm going to be streaming later today. I'm going to try to stream at 6 because I have something. Nice. I have a meeting at 7 a.m. tomorrow. What? So I'm like, I actually really do have to end my personal stream early. It's for something East Coast time. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do the 7 a.m. Wow. All right. Nice. But we will be seeing you all tomorrow from 1 to 2 p.m. I'll be seeing some of you later, and Maroon's going to be streaming later tomorrow. We will catch you then. For Daily Gaming News on October 15th, 2020, I am Maroon. I am Kaisa. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll catch you next time. See you next time, everybody.